Hi, Shannon here again with Shannon Sizzlen Stampers. Today we are going to make a super cute Easter treat favor box, and I'm not even going to show you the finished product until we're done to keep that element of surprise. But if you're following along from the spring retreat kit, this is your kit that is labeled chick and an egg box, and in it you're going to have just some random scraps of white cardstock. You're going to have one rectangle that's 2 inches by 4.5 inches, and it is pre-scored for you about 1/4 inch in on each of the long sides. And then you're going to have 2 little pieces of crumb cake. So those are the pieces that you're going to have. And you are also going to have a piece of ribbon. I just haven't pre-cut mine, but you're going to have some of the petal pink burgundy striped ribbon in there as well. So I'll just go ahead and cut that for myself. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with, once again, stamping my favorite little, super loud, little chick. And if you've seen me stamp this guy before, you know I like to just do it very lightly. I am using the Daffodil Delight ink, very lightly over the entire chick, and then I like to go back a little heavier around the edges, just because with his little feathers, it makes it look a little more realistic. You can even take a different colored ink. I'll show you another trick with my Mango Melody, and you can kind of do, it's called the rock and roll technique, and I'm just barely rocking that ink pad in various places. Now I'm going to push that down on one of the scraps of white. And there we have, he's kind of multicolors on him. We'll pull him off. And then I'm going to do the little beak with the same Mango Melody. Now, I may have gotten him a little, he might be a little mango-y, because you can't see his beak quite as well, but I just thought since we were talking I would show you that little technique. And then we will do the eyes. Remember, the smaller eye goes to the left so that he looks correct when he's looking at you. There are all colors of little Easter chicks, so it doesn't matter that he's a little more orangey red. He's like a ginger chick. All right, so we've got him stamped. Now we're going to go ahead and stamp the egg out of the Filled with Happiness set. Full of Happiness set. So let me close the mango up. And for the egg, we're going to use both the Blushing Bride and the Petal Pink. So I'm going to use the Blushing Bride as my base. And you're going to stamp 2 of these eggs on the other 2 white pieces that you have in your kit. That's all there is to that. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the speckles that are in the set with the Petal Pink, and I'm going to do, just randomly lay them on there however I like, in a couple different places. And then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to do one of the Blushing Bride that's darker in there as well. Okay, and those are just speckles, so again, they do not need to be perfect. All right, so now we have the 2 eggshells and our cute little chick. So the next thing we need to stamp is the same. And for this project, we're going to use May Your Easter Be Full of Happiness. And I'm going to lay mine diagonally. Oh, my little chick stuck on the back of my block. I am going to lay my same diagonally. It would fit exactly across there, but just so I have my weight more evenly balanced on the block, I'm going to do it at an angle. I'm going to press that down really well. Okay. So we've got all of our stamping done at this point. So our next pieces things that we're going to do will be cutting. So to begin with, I want to kind of create I've got one more little step, and I want to kind of create a wood grain look on this seine. And you know me, I'm using my big scissors because I cut straighter with those when I need a straight edge. But you're gonna trim your seine right between Easter and B. So I'm going to trim this down, and these are going to kind of look like wooden signs on a little signpost. So I'm going to kind of trim them each down. Again, your cutting on this doesn't need to be perfectly straight because wood and boards typically not perfectly straight. They're typically not even the same size. So let's get rid of those little scraps. And then with your other little piece of craft, whatever width you've kind of got those cut to, you're going to cut him down. And he's going to be your signpost. And I'm going to angle him at the top. And for now, I'm going to leave him long. I think I want him a little more narrow though. But I'm going to leave him long until I get the whole egg treat box done, and you'll see why. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 3 pieces. I'm going to take my dark crumb cake blend pen, and I'm just going to kind of make a few little lines randomly across it so it looks kind of like wood. And I'm going to do the same thing very carefully across my seine. I am going over a little bit of the words in a couple places just so it doesn't look odd. And as that alcohol marker dries, it will dry into the craft, the cardstock. So you don't have to worry about that. So now I'm going to lay all those little pieces aside, and we will cut the little chick. Again, you know me, I don't like to cut a feathery or a furry image out with straight smooth lines. So as you can see, I'm kind of just quickly going around the chick with my scissors. Now we are going to use the dinosaur dies for this project. If you don't have the dinosaur dies, you can just cut the egg shells out with fussy cutting them with scissors. And I'm going to do one of each just so that you can see the difference or lack of difference in them. So when you get the dies, this is how they come. They come in a cello envelope in a clear, see, I haven't even had this set of dies out yet, because so far for my projects with the eggs, I've just been fussy cutting them. My dies did not get here at the same time. So this is a really cute set though. You've got all these little dinosaur guys. I mean, seriously, a pterodactyl. And the only piece that coordinates back to the Full of Happiness stamp set is the egg. But that's the part we're going to use today. So I'm going to leave that out here. Let me just move these slightly to the side. I don't want to lose any of my little pieces, but I am going to go ahead and bring my Big Shot up to the table today on this project just to show you. Now, again, you might notice my Big Shot has been around for a while. I've had the Big Shot since it first came out. I've never needed to replace it, or I need to now, but I've never, previous to about 3 months ago, needed to replace even my block board. So just lining my paper up, and I've just laid that die cut, oops, right over there. And then I'm just sliding it through very quickly, cranking the handle, and it'll pop on through. And that's all there is to it. So if you have your Big Shot or whatever cutting machine out and available, it makes it super easy to get a nice clean cut on that eggshell. Now, if you do not have the dinosaur dies, or if you do not have a cutting machine right now, and I'm crossing my fingers that in June our new cutting machine will premiere, you can just take and fussy cut around your egg. And I promise it's not going to take much longer to do this eggshell than it took me to do the other eggshell by the time I got my big shot up here and lined it all up and laid it in. And that was with me having it basically set up and ready to go. I knew what width I needed it to be, etc. So don't fear if you don't have it. I do love the dinosaur dies just because they are super cute. And with the dinosaur stamp set, so easy to cut all that stuff out. All right, so now we are back to, we have our 2 eggshells and our chick and our sign. The next step to do is to take your 4.5 by 2 cardstock that's scored. You're gonna go ahead and fold that up. Again, me out here without my bone folder. Silly, silly Shannon. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and fold that up on those edges. If you have a bone folder, this would be a great time for it to be used. And now I'm gonna lay it back down flat, and I'm gonna use some of our awesome tear tape. So I'm just gonna start on this end, and I'm gonna go all the way down to that edge, and I'm just gonna tear it. That's how easy the tear tape is. You literally tear it. You do not need scissors. That is one of the things that makes it one of my favorite adhesives. I like it even for cards. It's a great adhesive. It's inexpensive for the amount that you get. So it makes it super easy. Gonna go ahead and put that on there really good, press it down. And only one side at a time are you gonna lift up. And the reason for this is there are more parts to doing this box. It's actually super easy. When you see the finished thing, that's part of why I didn't show you the finished project. I didn't want you to be like, oh my gosh, that's way too complicated. I can't build that box. Anyone who knows me well knows boxes that I have to build and construct, that is not an easy go-to for me. Usually that takes me some practice and work versus other types of three-dimensional things. So I'm gonna go ahead and peel off the backing just on one side. And I am not going to use my good paper snips. I am going to use my other scissors. And I'm gonna make little lines from the edge to the score line. Do not cut past that score line. About every 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. It does not need to be exact. It's not an exact science. You're just trying to cut little tabs. And the reason we need the little tabs is we need the cardstock to curve. We need it to curve to be able to create that egg shape, because we are in essence going to create the cutest ever little egg-shaped box. Now, if you have a bone folder, again, taking your bone folder to kind of curve that, but you can do it with your fingers, you can do it with a pair of scissors, you can do it with a butter knife. I just did it right there with my fingers. So the next step is going to be to take the egg, one of the egg halves, and you're going to line it up right there at the top of the egg to the edge of the score line. And then I'm ever so carefully going to just wind those little snipped pieces, just winding them around. I'm just curving it up and adhering them to that egg. Okay, so just like so. And I've got half of the box already built. We're gonna trim these up, so no worries. Next, go ahead now and peel off that other side of the sticky. Get rid of that. Same process again. Take your scissors and snip from the outer edge to the score every 1/8 to 1/4 inch. Now, I have seen this box constructed with a couple different methods. One of them is where they leave the tape on. They do all the snipping with the backing of the adhesive on, and then they go and pick off all the little parts with the paper piercing tool. And you know me, that's way too time intensive. That is not my style. So I need the easiest, the fastest path. You know, when I started stamping, I had 4 little kids at home. Now they're all adults and grown up, and I have 4 grandkids, 4 granddaughters actually. So I need things usually to be pretty quick. And I'm just merely doing that same process. I'm easing the egg onto the sticky tabs, and those tabs, because of the way they're cut, they give that cardstock the ability to curve. And voila, just like that, you have the cutest ever little egg box. Super cute. Now, to tidy it up a little bit, I'm going to take my little paper snips in, and if there's an edge where the egg itself didn't come up, or a little piece is poking out from the eggshell stamp, you're just going to trim that down. And again, that's just being fussy. I want it to look as good as it can. I know it's going to be homemade, but I still want it to look as professional as I can make it. Okay, awesome. And it's just that easy. It's totally just that easy. Now, since this is a little Easter box, you could fill it, I would fill it with candy or whatnot. I don't have my Easter candy yet because I haven't gone to look for anything since we're on coronavirus quarantine here. But I'm just going to fill it with some of this little shred. I like the colors. It's got the crumb cake, and it was what I happen to have at my house. It's got cream, and metallic gold is what I really love with the blush pink and the petal pink colors, the blushing bride and petal pink. So now, if you wanted, you could put some adhesive on your little chick and stick him to the front of the egg. You could put feet on your little chick if you want. I am banking that whatever I fill my little egg box is going to kind of hold my little chick in place, just like you can see here. And now I'm going to go ahead, I still think I want to trim my little signpost down a little bit more narrow. I don't want it to look too clunky for the box, but I'm going to go ahead and, using my Snell, I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on my sign pieces. And I'm leaving a little bit of edge at the top. And then same thing with the sign. You can stick it to the back of the egg. I'll show you that. If you can stick it in the center like I did the chick with the candies. But that's, now my box is basically almost done. The one, woo! This is a rolling egg. One last thing I'm going to do, just to give it a little bit of more, I don't know, feminine flair, is I am going to take the petal pink striped organdy ribbon and I'm going to tie that in a bow. If you don't like bows, you can do a knot. The egg box doesn't even have to have this ribbon. I just wanted an excuse to use the ribbon because I love this particular ribbon. And I love the color. And I think it's so great with the little chick. So I'm going to take my glue dots and I'm going to put a couple of glue dots on the back of my bow because I want it to stick really well. And then I'm just going to put my bow wherever I want on my little egg. So, and then just like that, you have a cute box. I'm going to lay that flat so the camera can catch it at that angle. There it is sitting, and let me flip it around that way as well. So super cute. Fill that up with little egg treats, little egg candies, whatever, and everyone's going to love it. Another fun thing, here's my other one with my more yellow chickie. Another thing that these would be super cute with, I don't know why this one, he really wants to roll over. I guess if you've got an egg like that, it's just like the egg is tilted coming out of the shell. Instead of necessarily putting the "May your Easter be full of happiness," although you could put it there, you could put people's names on the front of the eggshell and just don't do the bow. Or instead of, do all the bow, and instead of the saying here, you could put on your little wood people's names, and would those not be adorable at your Easter place settings for your dinner or family fun time, whatever you do, however you celebrate Easter?